shown up here, taking your time to be here with us. There are a fair number of us. So let's, when we're not speaking, let's mute. And then when the person's speaking, they can unmute. That'll stop a lot of the extra feedback and noise that we may get in the line. So we are here to speak about water. This is going to be a powerful evening, I think.
Jim, do you think we should wait just another minute or two? I think there's a few more folks coming on.
I think they'll come on as we go. He asked us to get started, so I was kind of following his lead.
Hello, aloha.
Welcome.
Aloha.
Thank you. I apologize for my early departure. However, I did want to be here with you now.
No problem. We just found out we may have some extended time at the end, and that's fine. I told him we can do that if need be. And some of us speak a lot, so that won't hurt. So whoever else is coming, I know we still have a couple people trying to get in from out of the country, out of the US. So as they come in, they will just tag into the feed here. This, wow, this whole week, this whole day, especially on water, has come about very quickly. And it's a great blessing from the pieces I've seen. I wish I could have seen it all, but that wasn't going to happen. I think we have an incredible group here tonight, and I thank you again, each and every one of you, for being here. This does take time, this does take our energy. I get that. But when we were asked to put this together, it certainly felt like the right thing to do. Many of us have done these elder circles before. I sent an email, and for people listening, we're going to do this a little differently so we all get a chance to speak. Everybody will take a turn. When you're ready to speak or feel ready to speak, put your hand up, or there should be a little hand up thing, and we'll just take people in the order they come. And then just share who you are. We're not going to go around and bio each of you. Who you are, why you're here, and then something about water. We can certainly be very broad about this. Water itself, you can share through music, story, teachings, other related things, social justice, whatever moves you at the moment. All of us have been engaged in water and working on water for some time now. So there's going to be a good diversity, I think. When we get through that first round, we're going to open it up. We'll probably ask some questions, or we'll just open it up for additional chat. Pardon me. And we'll just see how it goes from there. I'm going to bring in my co-moderator? I was going to say co-host, but that's when I do radio. I'm going to bring Maya in for a minute, and then we're honored to have grandmother Mona here, one of the 13 indigenous grandmothers. And I've asked her if she would do the opening prayer. So after Maya gives her welcome, we're going to shift over for that opening prayer. Thank you all again, and I'm going to mute. You got it, Maya.
Thank you, Jim. Welcome to everybody. My heart is so full. It's been an incredible day. There have been amazing, amazing gatherings. And it's such a lesson for me. I've always been kind of technologically resistant, but right now, even though I wish we were sitting together in a circle on the earth next to a beautiful body of water, I'm so grateful for this technology and this Zoom room that can collect us all together. So thank you so much for whatever you went through to get on and to be here. And I just wanted to acknowledge that Jim and I are both on the Core Council of Loving Waters. I've been a water protector and water ambassador for many years, doing water ceremony, and I was called to the water back in 1987. I'm also on the board of Tribal Trust Foundation, which is a sponsor for Loving Waters. And Tribal Trust Foundation is all about supporting the indigenous voice to come forward, protecting indigenous cultures so they can be shared. And we're so grateful to have all of you today. I heard something today. I'd just like to start out to read. A woman in several of the groups I was in put this in the chat, and to me it was it touched me in her description of water. And I feel like that's what we're going to be learning a lot from all of you today. Your connection with water as a living being. And this woman's name is Dana Tomasino. She is originally from Hawaii. She said, water is so much more than what we know. It is a multidimensional encoder, translator, and transmitter of energetic information. It is a bridge between dimensions. It is the most advanced form of consciousness on Earth, a gift from another dimension. Learning to connect and communicate with water at this level is a vital next step in humanity's evolution. And I believe in this collective of wisdom that we have here, the teachings about how to take that vital next step will unfold. So I'm grateful and complete with that. And so shall we ask Grandmother Mona, would you like to open our space with your prayer?
Commune. I'd just like to greet each and every one of you and give thanks for this time, this moment, for us to come together, for us to take time out to acknowledge and pay tribute and respect to our holy divine Mother Water. And so if you would all join me in your own prayer as I send these words to the good Creator, to the four directions. Homastaho Pajaj Kadika Optic Bakuva. Call upon you again, giving thanks to you here again for all these divine creations of yours. Giving thanks to you here that we could come together to give our tributes, give our expressions of love and respect for this divine creation, our Holy Mother Water, this life-giving element. The element, this Mother Water that we all came from within our mother's womb, the way that we were formed and developed within this holy water. And so we call it our first foundation of life. And so here today, relatives from throughout the world, we're joining together to take time to acknowledge the gifts that it brings to all of life on Mother Earth, all of the sacred foundations, the plant life, the animal life, the four-legged, the winged, all of the life forms of this earth that you've given us this good blessing so that we could be able to thrive in our life. And so here again, I ask you too for forgiveness for anything that I might have done or said that might be contrary to your wishes, so that I might be worthy of these things that I pray to you about here at this time. I give thanks to you again too here for all of our ancestors, the ones that were here before us, so that we could follow their footsteps, their footprints that they made on this Mother Earth. We've come this far, and here today we are taking time out, and we have this document that we're launching here today, the water law. And so you might acknowledge it. It might be acknowledged all the way up to the universe, and that the ones that might join us in signing off on it and working on it to make it a reality. Because at this time, we're pitiful. We're having our struggles in life. We're seeing many of our sacred waters that are beginning to disappear. But we're taking time out to acknowledge it so that we might be able to have a hand in preserving it and protecting it. Because we want to have clean water for all of life, but also we want to have clean water for our future generations that are yet to come. The ones that we will not see, we're thinking towards that goal too for them. And then too, here again, Creator, call upon you to bless all of the thunder beings, the ones that are going to bring rain, the relatives that are in prayer now, calling upon you to send the rain to them, so that their gardens that they could receive the blessing, so that they could grow and provide for them, as well as all of the animal life, the plant life, and all these different places where there is a need for this divine creation of yours. So here again, within our own bodies, you might touch us here, the water that we carry within us, so that we might have good health, we might have a good mind, a good heart, good spirit, and continue on in our work that we do, our prayers that we make to you. You might recognize us that way here again. If there's anything I left out, I ask you could take care of it for me, just the way you always do, watching over me and taking care of me. So I'm grateful to you for this time to express my heartfelt feelings and thoughts to you. And for these things I say to you, all my relations, Esquili, 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 Esquili. Thank you.
Aho, thank you, grandmother. That was beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so glad this is being recorded. I can't absorb everything at once. I'm very thankful that all the various groups are involved here. White Otter Academy took this on, but like Maya, I'm also a council member of Loving Waters and several other groups. I know we're all members of multiple groups, and that's beautiful energy. I see some of our other folks have shown up, which is awesome. I haven't seen Chief Daniel yet from Nigeria. I hope he makes it. If not, we extend energy to him. I think before we pass it on to the next, I haven't seen Chief Daniel yet from Nigeria. I hope he makes it. If not, we extend energy to him. I think before we pass it on to the next person, with everyone's permission, we have one other member who can't be here tonight because her health won't allow it. But I'm going to read her words, if I may. And this is from LaDonna Brave Bull Howard. LaDonna is the one who started Standing Rock when the young people came to her. As I'm reading this, I would ask any of you who are willing, send some healing energy to LaDonna. She's being challenged right now in a big way. These are her words. The water of life, the first medicine of the world, is so precious to every living thing that grows, breathes, and lives. The water is the female blood of Mother Earth that brings life. A woman brings children in this world through water of the womb. She then cleans her children with water, cooks and feeds them with water. She plants and waters her gardens. The trees that grow and provide air need water. Water is life. And as we say in Minichoni, water of life. We will continue to stand for the water so that we may live. The World Water Law is a great way for all people to unite around our water and demand a binding international law protecting one of our Mother Earth's prime resources. Thank you, LaDonna. We've been connected since Standing Rock, and I find her another very, very powerful person. So, I don't know about you all, but I already feel the energy. I think maybe for some balance, I don't see any hands up yet, so I guess I'll just call on somebody. How about...
I'm going to offer this beautiful Hopi water
Thank you.
rattle as a talking piece. Imagine that we are passing. This is good to me with the turtle on it and the symbol of water.
Yep. Thank you, Maya. I forgot. That's our talking stick.
And I also wanted to name that Jim and I called together an elder circle, but we have a couple of young folks here because we're recognizing that these days the ancestors and the wisdom is coming through younger and younger. So we have some what I call young elders here, and I welcome them into the circle. So I offer the talking stick for whoever would like to begin.
Charles, did I see? Who am I seeing?
I would
Okay, go
like
ahead.
to say, if I may, that water is life to all things that flies, walks, and crawls. It's essential to all life. Water is essential to the fishes that live in it, all things that live in the waters. Life is sacred. Water is sacred. It's here for us all. It's here for everything. We thank the thunder beings that bring the rain peoples, and let that come to our gardens and our standing ones here, and the grasses and everything. Water's essential for life itself. That is why I'm here. We all need this. All life needs this. So as caretakers of the Earth Mother, we're also caretakers of the water. Maybe with Choni, water is life. So I give the talking stick in the middle.
Thank you, Uncle.
I invite people to share your name and where you're from, and whatever about, to introduce yourself, since we're not doing that.
My name is Charles Twodog. I'm Principal Chief Western Lenape here in Kentucky. So that's why I'm also here in this great circle, and I'm honored to be here.
Thanks, Chief. How about somebody from down under? We have a couple representatives, at least. I see Bruce. Bruce is laughing.
Can you hear me now?
That's it.
All right, thanks. Look, thanks for inviting me. Look, just to acknowledge everyone down there and Uncle there, I can see him on the screen. My name's Bruce Shillingsworth. I'm a Murray budgeting man. I come off the Darling River. My mother's from the Paru River. The Murray-Darling is one of Australia's third biggest river. It runs down through the 4 states, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. As you know, I'm an advocate. I fight for our rivers. The 40 nations, First Nations that along the rivers that have suffered over the last 10, 15 years because of the greeds, the extractions of water sharing. Jim, I had a look at your paper, the paper that you've sent to us, and I've read it, and I think it's great. How do we now introduce that into the Australian environment, to the Australian politicians here, the leaders in our country? How do we get them to accept that? That's our next big challenge.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bruce, and I think that's something that Jan and Shelley will have an answer for later. You're not the only one asking. We have friends in India. I've put them in touch with them. I know we have friends in all parts of the world, so I completely agree, and I'm certainly willing to do my small part to make that happen.
Well, we're willing to do that here in Australia, and I'll back it, and I want to push it here. So it's great.
Yeah, can I speak?
Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Gale. I'm Uncle Max Harrison. I'm a Yuan man from the southern part of this place that they call Australia. I don't call myself an Australian. I'm still a Yuan man. That was given to our people from the first sunrise. Look, water is important to me. I learnt that when I was 7 years of age. I was sent down for a couple of little buckets of water down to a river, one of our great rivers that runs off our highest mountain, Mount Kosciuszko, and it's called the Snowy River. I was sent down to that river to get a little bucket of water, or a billy can, as we called them. And I dipped that in, and I ran back up to my old uncle who was looking after about 30 of us kids. And he looked at he seen me, and then he kicked the billy can of water over. This I couldn't understand. He said, go down and get 2 billy cans of water now. And so I grabbed the two cans and I went back down, and same thing. I dipped the 2 billy cans into the running water, into the river, and I tiptoed back up, and I thought, there, he won't kick this over now because there will be 2 full cans of water. So I put them down gently onto the ground, and that old uncle, he kicked them 2 over, and he said to me, go back down there and get the big bucket of water and the billy can. So I went down, and then I thinking, what did I do wrong? What was wrong with what I was doing? He asked me to take him up the first billy can of water. I done that. He kicked that over, and then he sent me down for 2 more. And I went down and I got them other 2, and I tippy-toed up so I wouldn't spill any. And he kicked them over. And now he sent me down with this big 4-gallon tin and a small little billy can. And I filled that up. But first, I dug a hole into the sand and I let all the water come in. And then I took me time and I filled that big 4-gallon tin up and the little billy can. And then just as I was thinking, and I looked up the bank and I thought, how am I going to carry this up that bank, this big bucket of water? And I was standing there thinking. And next minute, the voice from the top of the hill said to me, leave it there, Dulamunmun. I'll come and get that. And he came down, and then I was going to pick up the billy can of water. And he said, no, you leave that, I'll take that up also. So I left it and I thought, oh. He kicked 3 billy cans of water over. Now he's taken this big bucket and this small one. And then he said to me, go across the river, okay, grab some wood over there on the other side and come back. And I done that. I went across and I grabbed these bits of wood and I walked up the bank of the river of where I took the billy cans up. And just as I got up there, I looked back down where I dug the hole in the sand, where I filled the big 4-gallon tin up. And I looked back down and there was a shaft of light hit that water hole and a brightness come up from it. And at the age of 7, I remembered the story, and I was shown how to get water many times before that, because my little mind was on getting away playing with the rest of the kids. So all I was doing, running down and dipping the billy cans into the river and going back up, you see. I knew then that I never asked the river for water. I was raping the river. Each time that I just dipped it into the river and walked up the hill, you see. That old uncle was showing me the respect that I must have when I'm even taking water from a running river that's coming from the snowy mountains. So that shaft of light and that brightness made me look. And that's in one of my teachings when I'm taking young men out into the bush to teach them about our cultural, spiritual laws that our ancestors handed us down. So when I heard about the water in our mother's womb, in our bodies, and no matter where we look, I sat down a few months ago and I seen the rain coming down and on the leaves outside my window. And this big drop of rain that hit onto the end of this leaf that was hanging down. And then a downpour came. And that drop of rain never fell off the end of that leaf. So the miracles of water and what it can do, and where it is, and how it can carve our way through the mountains, how it can carve a history, how it can carve lots of things, this beautiful commodity. That's a big word for me because I never had any schooling. But I heard this word commodity, and I sort of had to get people to explain it to me. You see, being 84 years of age, I've been teaching a lot about water now. So I was glad to be asked to be invited onto this panel with all you wonderful people who was talking about water. And then when people think about, oh, the rain is too much. And I'm thinking, yeah. And I sit down and I do a prayer for them to try and change their mind of looking at every time that drop of water hits the earth, where did it go? Every time those drops of water hit every plant, what does it help grow? Every time these things happen is what I teach all the young men when I take them out. And I take them to that river first. And when they want to go in for a swim, when they want to go and collect water, they know exactly what to do. So that precious water is so precious to me as a teacher, as a cultural teacher and lawman. Thanks for inviting me to be on this wonderful panel. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful story and that wonderful teaching. So beautifully prepared and given to us. So I had a couple of people ask me, I'll just do this briefly. They said, I came on and I got the show started, but I didn't say why I'm here. So I'll cycle back to that. I wanted to be certain that I got LaDonna's words on there. I'm Jim Graywolf Petruzzi. I am Romany Gypsy by birth. I also have Native American blood, and I am a member of Charles Twodog's tribe, the Western Lenape, although I'm in Pennsylvania, not in Kentucky, or Kentuck, as he likes to say. I've been around water my whole walk. I'm 70 years old. Started by camping by water as a young man. I've always been drawn to the water. I could speak a lot about it. I won't. Standing Rock refocused me a lot on water, and I handled a lot of the virtual parts of Standing Rock once we realized that the media was not going to cover the effort. From that into Water is Life, from that into the climate problems we have, the climate change, and now this beautiful World Water Law, which much as Bruce said, I think this is the next step. We need to come together, and now's the time, because we're coming together around so many things. Water is not just water and stories, although they're beautiful, and teachings, which are wonderful. Water, to me, has a lot to do with social justice. Standing Rock started because of social justice, as much as the water. And so maybe I can call on Tanja on this one and bring in one of our younger elders, because I know she's been doing some things around social justice, and we'll just move the track a little bit. Is that okay, Tanja? You ready for that?
I am. Thank you, Jim. I am Tanja Woitasczyk. I am originally from Germany, so that's the accent you're hearing. Water is very important, not just to me, it is for everyone. And I just noticed as you were sharing that you've always been around water, that where I live right now, all around us is little streams of water, and I go to them every single day. It's like I can't not. I have to go there every day to just take that in for a moment and yeah, take it in essentially. So the part about social justice, I think that's a really good point you brought up. I so strongly agree with you there. There are currently so many people who don't have access to running water or clean water for different reasons all over the world, and in different parts of the world it is because simply it's just not there, and people have to walk hours literally to get it. And other parts of the world, like right here in the US, there are several places where the water is just really contaminated, right? And so there might be water and it might even come out of the tap, but it is not drinkable. And to me, that is a very, very basic human right, is to have access to clean, drinkable water. I think that is just something that we all must have. And as long as that is not the case, there is no real equality. People have so many disadvantages as a result of not having water. I lived in a place once a few years ago where the water that came out of the tap was orange, and it stank of like rotten eggs, essentially. It was absolutely horrible. After taking a shower, I had this like orange film on my skin. And I lived there for a few months. I never used it to brush my teeth because I knew it was contaminated with pesticides. It was a agricultural area. And for many, many years, pesticides and chemicals have been used on those lands, and it was clearly in the water. I just could not believe that that was something that was coming out of a tap in a first world country. But it was. And I know many people deal with those issues, so I think to have true equality, it really is a must that we all have access to clean water. I mean, it's so many issues can come from not having clean water, starting with our health, the health of the planet. I mean, thinking about all the contamination that is happening in so many places of so many different waterways, it's just so heartbreaking. I don't understand why we would be doing this to ourselves and why we would be allowing it, right? But we have. And I think it's something that maybe many people still aren't aware of, that it's happening, which is really sad. So we really have to get that message out there. And I so strongly agree with a global approach, because right now, anytime I talk to anybody, I'm working on a project around equality, as Jim just mentioned, and anytime I talk about it, I do this with my hands, because it's all about connection at this point. It's all about connection and community, and we have got to come together. It's no longer enough to just do our little bit in our communities. That's important and that is helpful, and everybody has to sort of do their thing. But I think it's really time, like you said, Jim, right now is the time. The pandemic has given us an opportunity. It has given people the chance to reconnect to themselves, to one another, to understand that we really, really have to rely on one another, and we are dependent on one another. And we're dependent on water. And in order to get many issues resolved, because clean water isn't the only issue, like you mentioned, climate change, there are racial issues, there are all kinds of things that are just simply no longer working for humanity as a whole. And I think all of those issues have got to be addressed on a global scale. It's no longer enough. We're just at a point where I think it's no longer enough to just look at our own little country and our own little place in the world where we are, but that there has to be some coming together. There has to be connection and an overall theme, an overall like law, like we're talking about here, the water law in this instance. I think that is the only way we can really make things happen and create a shift in a bigger way that is going to impact really everyone and make a big change. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak and for having me here on this call. I am so, so honored and so grateful to be here.
Thank you, Tanja. I was thinking when you were speaking how the phrase used to be, think globally, act locally. I think now it's think globally, act locally and globally. And this water law is such an opportunity to really bring us together. And you're right, the pandemic helped us to understand that we are deeply interconnected. And also the Black Lives Matter has actually spread worldwide, people supporting that. And we're really poised to do this. And as I listened to Bruce's question, I know there was an open space today to talk about how can we implement this. And I hope John will keep us all connected and informed where we can come together to brainstorm together, to strategize together about the steps. But thank you, Tanja.
Yeah, I agree. And beyond even all that, and thank you, Tanja, for bringing that in, because it's a critical piece, I believe. We are going through this change. We have great opportunities right now, even if they're painful to go through. And I'm completely behind Black Lives Matter as someone who actually marched with Dr. King all those years ago. But we've got a lot of people who need our assistance of all colors, and we need to remember that. I was thinking about our friends in Navajo land today, that this virus is really doing a number on. And so we've got to pull us all together. Stop looking at color, gender, age, height, weight, and realize that, in fact, we are all one. And that helps set that up a lot. Okay. Do I see a hand? Ivy.
It's an honor to be here. So tēnā koe from Aotearoa, New Zealand, Nisen Bulavanaka from Fiji, Polynesia, Tolofalava, Samoa, Polynesia, and Yahweh here in this beautiful sacred country, Australia. Yahweh, greetings, greetings. Wow, I'm really glad to be here to share some of my knowledge and where to begin. Thank you to Grandmother for opening. It's an honor to see our elders and to hear the young people on here. The younger generation really makes my heart happy. I guess I want to start with my markings. This is a mirror reflection where I committed to the contract to be in service my whole life, to be here for what we're talking about today. These sacred markings belong to the world, with me walking with the message that it holds. The markings come together and form a turtle, Mother Earth, with the messages that are what we're all talking about is common sense. To look after all the elements that give us life, with water being the blue at the top. So what we're here for, water of life. So looking after all the elements that give us life, to look after all the beings. This is the cicada. So the cicada in my teachings is the channel straight to the divine realms above. So when you have a radio station, you're listening to one channel and you get caught in that static. Well, that is when we go through those distractions to tune in. To look after ourselves. male, female. We are made from a mother and father, so we have both these energies, which I teach around balance. Behind my ears are our mothers and grandmothers, our fathers and grandparents, our ancestors. So in a nutshell, what does that mean? It's my teachings to remind people, look after the elements that give us life, starting with water. Look after all beings that sacrifice, that gave our ancestors food for us to be here. Look after yourself and balance within first. Listen to your parents, listen to your ancestors' teachings and wisdom. That will bring you peace within yourself and harmony throughout the world. It's exactly what we're talking about. So it's an honor to have been chosen before coming to this planet from the higher realms. In our culture, people are chosen to carry out the service, to go through what we have to go through in life experiences of truth, to then be able to speak it. I want to talk about, we're talking about laws, and what I have observed from my life walk to speaking and going through university to sitting as my time now in being a proud grandmother of 3 grandchildren and going on a self-funded mission from 2017 to date, and I'm still walking that, to hold the teachings of 2020. And when we use the word law, what I've seen on a micro to macro level is a difference. A law, L-A-W, creates a wealth which is attached to the energy of money. And so I know now I am someone here to bridge between the old ways to the modern ways to incorporate for the future. And yes, we do need infrastructures on both sides. Because when we have a look at law, L-O-R-E, in a sovereign way, common law, for the people, by the people, back to the people, our wealth is not money. Our wealth is life, everything that gives us life. From what the Creator created, and He brought that through all of the different realms and beings. Then He chose Father Sky and Mother Earth to come together. They were Siamese twins, and when they separated after a meeting, they separated for us. And when He separated and looked down and He missed His beautiful, beloved Mother Earth, one tear dropped. And when He looked down at her working, she was preparing, because all of our human beings, that one human race were coming. And she was planting seeds everywhere. And when she looked up and smiled at Him, He looked down, and He knew when that one drop of water hit one seed on Mother Earth, it began to grow to form our plants and to start life for us here. So He knew then He had to go above to look after night shift while she created day shift, to give us everything from above, to give us life. And if we're talking about water, where does it come from? It comes from His breath, through the wind, to blow all of the clouds, for the rain to come down, to give us water, sun, and everything from above. If we didn't have everything above, we wouldn't be able to survive down here. So the first teaching I teach out there is water, and to give absolute gratitude. Without water, as the elders mentioned, in our wombs, when we were sent like shooting stars into our mother's wombs under her heart, we needed water to survive. Without water, again, water of life, we wouldn't be here. And so today I know that my responsibility and commitment is to bridge between all the worlds, to come together in one language. And like Uncle just spoke about, all these movements that are here, they do take a place, but my teachings around the world is to have a look at the language, to forgive the past, to heal, to be able to grow, to save our life, ourselves, our families, our communities, our nations, the elements, everything. And my teaching, which I do very respectfully, is to educate people on some of these words that are attached to energies have to be forgiven and prayed for and left in the past. For example, WHITE, and yes, we're going through a BLACK movement, the word war. For my observation, for my teachings, and as a grandmother, to look at what best to do for my grandchildren's future so I can sit with them in celebration, is to help people understand if we can heal from these words, to not bring them into the wrong energies. It still can cause split division. And when we take out these words and we look at life matters as one people, we're not in a spiritual war, we are in a celebration of a transition to reform, rebuild, re-energize and reclaim. And when we stand together as one, we've got it. How do we do that? Well, this is where I'm walking today in life, to educate people on first grassroots level. We can't, a lot of people still can't understand what people like us are talking about. They can't understand how to save water, how to, where water is that needs help, what's happening out there. Some people are still asleep, some people are still not aware. And so we have to educate people to come in to understand how important water is for themselves, for their families, communities, their nations, and as a whole world. So I just want to honour everyone here. We all have a place equally, and I am working with some beautiful people to formulate sovereign laws to get people to come into a global humanitarian peace treaty, where under a new well, it's not a new infrastructure that was always there before that got taken from us, to bring that back. So the new LORE, the new sovereign laws, are by the people, for the people, and it's not governed by governments. You individually are a part equally to keep these to keep this new structure alive. So there's more that I want to talk about, but just to know that there are some beautiful other laws that can merge together to keep this stronger. But for me, in my role, working with people that are living on the streets, to talking at big forums, to going across the waters again soon, my role is to bridge and educate people on what it means for themselves first. Then we can get it right. Correct information, proper way. Aho.
No.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Abby.
That's awesome. I know Grandmother Mona gave us a beautiful opening prayer, but I believe she wanted to speak as well. Am I correct, Grandmother?
I could wait a while for others.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
I know that Pooki might have to leave early, so.
Pookie, are you ready, Pookie?
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. I did want to share, and I think so. I'm Pooki Lee. I'm a lover of water. I'm a lover of our sacred mother. I come to bring people to the mother, to introduce them, because I think that we've lost our way. Many have lost their way to the mother, and I see that all the things that are happening in the world right now are so powerful because they're returning to the mother. The fact that people are gardening and to have a relationship with the sacred earth again is, from COVID-19, is just so many blessings are coming through. We can look at all of this and see all of the challenges that we're facing right now, but beneath all of them, so many beautiful miracles are happening in mysterious ways. Things are coming forward. And I know that, you know, as I was thinking about the water lot today, and as we have been preparing for this day, I was really inspired by what is happening in our world right now. I'm seeing a unification that I've never seen before. I'm seeing the entire planet stand up for humanity, for the rights of humanity. Because when we stand up, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement just brought to light something that many of us, many of indigenous cultures, all indigenous cultures, as a matter of fact, we have suffered a great deal. And so this is like the cry for humanity to come forward, and just the acknowledgement that as a power, we're beginning to notice that we are powerful when we are together. When we unite together, we bring our hearts connected together to bring this power that allows us to make changes in a very short period of time, right? So we all agreed to do certain things with COVID. We all agreed to speak up about, or you know, many people about humanity in the Black Lives Movement. I marched in peaceful protest. I've and what I've seen is that now what I think is needed is that it's not about getting governments and getting countries to adhere to this law. I think that the way that we'll do it is by teaching the people, like reminding them, because it's so true when we think about it. Every day we all drink water in order to sustain our life. Even those that don't have a relationship with water as a living being, as the essence of all life, they still drink, they consume this water in an unconscious state. Now, if we could just bring them to a conscious level of what it is, like the whole aspect of honoring this sacred living water, this living life force that is giving us life. Like every sip of water inspires our next breath. And so if we can begin to bring to the people, just like what happened with COVID, you know, everybody, we all agreed that we needed to shelter at home, that we needed to be mindful and distance, and, you know, some high processes to keep ourselves clean and whatnot. We all agreed to that. And because of that, it changed everything in our world. And so I think that by bringing the beauty and the power and the wisdom of water forward to so many people who have forgotten is a way that we can make this law real. Like make this law powerful and activated in the lives of everyone, because we can do this if we're the ones that create the laws within ourselves. What we abide by and what we choose for ourselves, that is the law. We have our own individual law. And so if we can all agree on this law with water, we could see our waters protected, because we all agree that we need to drink clean water. And now it's just bringing the element of this sacredness and of the life force energy and of the divinity and the deep relationship to the Mother Earth back to the people. So I think that we're bringing them home. I think they're coming home to the mother. And I think that she's using very inspiring ways of doing that. And so I just say that because I think that the power is in the people. And I think when we unite together and we share a common cause, that we really can change our world in a very, very short period of time. So I am truly inspired about everything that is being created in this moment. And I'm so grateful and so honored to be in the presence of such magnificent ones who have been carrying this message of water with them most of their entire lives and have been fighting for the rights of water. So I bow before you in deep humility and gratitude for the heart that you bring, for your commitment to service, for the deep love that you have for the mother. I bow to you and I say thank you, mahalo, from the depth of my heart.
Thank you, Pooki. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh,
Mahalo, yes.
yes.
You know, I was thinking, Pooki, you're so passionate. It's so beautiful. Clearly, you are good at inspiring people to touch into the sacred relationship with water. And this morning at sunrise here and sunset at the Ganges, and Puja Swamiji spoke about the 4 steps that we need. And he spoke all starting with I, very beautiful alliteration, inspiration. Then we share the information, like the education, the innovation, not just of technology, but innovating our whole philosophies and ways of seeing things, and then implementation. And I think some of us will work in different areas. You know, some of us will do more about, you know, the taking it to the governments, but clearly you're an inspirer and I'm inspired. And I agree that when we wake everybody up to that love for the sacredness of water, then the rest will unfold.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree too, except I would say it's maybe even more important right now that we bring it to ourselves, we bring it to the people. The governments are not going to give us what we need. Some of us have been doing this too long. There are other white hairs here. We need to do it.
Yes.
We need to rise up, and we are. And at Standing Rock, when we were there, one of the most fascinating things to me was people around us. We were all different colors, all different cultures. We couldn't even understand each other because we didn't speak a common language, but we were one. And that's what I'm seeing now, I think, at a much broader level. I watch the Black Lives Matter marches now. When I was in them back in the, way back when, in the 60s, I was one of few light-skinned people, I can tell you that. Now it's a mix. Now it is a rainbow march. So I think that's, yeah, Pooki, you brought that in beautifully. Charles, yeah, did you want something briefly? Because we still got others before we double back. Go ahead.
Well, number one, I wanted to Pooki and to Ivy that I've just now met. I also wanted to relay my gratitude to both of you, and aloha to you, and to both of you. I share a little bit of myself. So as I come from woman myself, I've always wanted to do this as a man and as a warrior in itself. And I say this to all women that I meet. It doesn't matter to me. As a man and as a warrior, I always bow to you. Thank you. You're a life giver. Without you, there would be no me, and there would be no nations. So I bow to you at that. And yeah, great. Jim, I gotta admit, you know, I was, I'm gonna say it like this. I was 7 years old when I stepped in front of a German Shepherd because the police actually set this shepherd loose on a black grandmother in 1967 because she wanted to drink of water from a fountain. I made sure she got that water. But the fact of the matter is, Graywolf was 18 and I was 8. And I actually marched in the Martin Luther King movement myself. And I've been watching this and I'm grateful for the Black Lives Matter. Okay, because what I'm seeing now is it's like we're going back through history, but it's better. Because it's not just, you know, not just that, but it's black, it's white, it's yellow, it's red, it's brown. The rainbow is walking together in this for equality of all people. Now, I'm going to say this real quick, and I'll give this back to you, Jim. What we have been able to do is to take color of people and put it over here. Because we're all the human being. Everything on this earth has being. We just happen to be the human being. So we're taking color of an individual and looking at the human being. And since we're all related under the Creator, whatever you may call him, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all related. So it's always an honor to be able to share with all of us and get this. Because actually, I think for the young people that I've seen marching, I've actually marched in a peaceful protest just about a month ago, and I've been asked to go for a peace march in 2 days. So we'll see how that we can do this. And Ivy, Pooki, as I said, from my heart to you, thank you, my life givers, for doing what you're doing, and I stand with you. Jim, I give it back.
Thank you, Chief. Going to slip north of the border up into the cold country and ask my brother, Brock, Blue Thunderbird Man, if he wishes to share a bit.
Oh, Chamigwich, brother. It's I'm so honored to be here, and I wish to honor the life bringers, as Brother Charles say. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Part of it is sad. Part of it is a silver lining in the clouds. My traditional name is Sipikau Pikwa Napu. I'm the Blue Thunderbird Man of my clan, Treaty 9, James Bay, First Cree. I hold the energies of the above, the blue, and gifted with all the 7 directions underneath. The blue for the Minwikon. I'm the 4th generation medicine carrier of my Cree fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers. I sit now in the unceded territories of the Stolo people on the western coast of Canada, bringing ceremony 3 times a week into these traditional lands where I walked 40 years ago. A special time we're in now. The star beings and those from my Cree lineage, from the stars above, are all here to celebrate the prophecies that began in 2012. And I'm just honored to sit in this circle of great elders. And many of you I've sat with before, and many of you this is the first time. But Matakiwaisen, we're all related, one tribe, coming together in this special time. And no coincidence whatsoever that we all sit in this circle as equals, sharing wisdom and working together to create a better world. My interest is the water. I live on one of the great fishing streams of British Columbia, Canada, Kanata with a K. 20 feet from where I stay is some of the biggest salmon caught on the west coast of Canada. It's a really unique area. It's carved out pools on the flatlands of the river where the fish fries would come in as small young ones. And then the people would keep them there until they grew big enough to be on our meal plan, if you will. So it is a great honor to sit in this circle with you all and listen to your sharing of your wisdom. I'm in with that, Brother Jim and Brother Charles. Oh.
Oh.
Thank you, Thunderbird Man. Thank you, thank you. I wonder if Amber, you would like to speak. I know being the young elder, you might be a bit shy, but I invite you to step in. I know that you have a lot to share.
Thank you so much, Maya. I wanted to begin this by saying thank you to Grandmother Mona for your beautiful prayer and to everyone who's here today. My name is Amber Bassett. I'd like to begin by saying Haku no Ankala Kume Sutash. Hello, and I'm grateful for our Mother Earth. I am a Chumash woman, and I come from the Kalawashak village at San Ynez. I presently live in Ojai, California. And the work that I do is really about bringing together the two worlds that I've been brought in, up in the indigenous world and then the modern people's world of laws, that sort of thing, of economies. I feel a deep sense of path and purpose in being a bridge between the two worlds, because yes, money is the tool that is being used on the planet right now, but it's been circulated in ways that have deeply disrespected nature and deeply disrespected the water. And I believe that it's possible to steward money in circulation as an act of stewardship itself for life, rather than just for its own sake. So that's a bit where I'm coming from. And I think it's essential at this time to recognize that, particularly with the Black Lives Matter movement, that it's the call for justice in the face of such injustice and disparity over skin, literally skin. And I feel called to listen deeper into that movement, because I feel that all ships rise with the tide. And it may not look like a unifying thing that's happening in terms of being present and available to the histories that were erased for both Black and Indigenous peoples and other peoples all over the planet, but in listening and saying, yes, I hear you, and this was wrong. And we want to seek out a way of being human in the world, in which all peoples, despite the color of their skin or where they lived, are honored and respected. And yeah, and I think part of that is also looking at the way that resources have been maintained with scarcity. Like, I don't think that the water itself particularly likes to be sold. I don't think it likes that. I don't know that seeds particularly like to be sold. And so how is it possible to have a wisdom-centric way of being and redefining being human, where things aren't sold, but that we have a means of circulation where they can be stewarded and extended so that everybody is included into this basket of life. So that's where I'm coming from and what I have to contribute and share to the conversation. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here. I feel so deeply humbled and honored to be here and to witness this coalescing of voices and wisdom on behalf of Mother Earth, Mother Hutash. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. You know, it's interesting that all of us are the same age on the inside. So I may be younger than you on the inside. I'm not sure. Pookie, yeah, she's with me. Okay. I know Charles is.
You got to remember, Jim,
Yes, sir.
that every time that sun comes up in the east, that's the first day for the rest of our lives. That's everyone. That's what I do. When I get up in the morning, I welcome Grandfather Sun for the first day for the rest of my life, to give me the thoughts or everything all about nature and what we're talking about here now, you know. How many times I often think and I often hear the voices of my ancients coming back to me. And some of the things that they used to say to me: we walk the same land, we breathe the same air, and we drink the same water. And I'm thinking, how does that make sense? Until I started to see even what that young lady just said there, Amber, said about that selling of water. It rattles my spirit. How could anyone own that? How? This is something that, as a global group of people that we are now at this present time, should be looking at the stop the selling of this water that is come from above, come from the mother, to even go up, to come back down in a circulation of life, that we as a human is doing the same thing through our ancestry. And this is what water does. This is what the ancients tell me. That don't just think that water just comes from them clouds or whatever, you know. Underneath, the mother is birthing, where everything is birthed, the same as us, as the human. The last creation is us humans. And we're the ones that is doing all the destructions on our beautiful Mother Earth. And to have people to be able to sell water. I cannot understand this. Sometimes I sit and I cry and I think, what in the hell's going on here? When I see hundreds and thousands of bottles of water, and then it goes into the supermarkets, then it goes here and there, you know, everywhere. Someday we must put a stop to this ownership.
Today.
We cannot own air, we cannot own water. We only own our responsibilities to help.
Oh, beautifully said. Thank you. I think we have 2 people left in the first round. Sue won it or Peter won it? Peter.
Thanks, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. Unfortunately, in about 5 minutes, I have to leave to go to the dentist. I hope it's not too painful. Just one of those things you have to do. But it's just been fantastic to sit in and listen to this amazing global gathering right around the globe on the importance and sacredness of water. Water is life. We can't live a half a day without water. I just want to extend great gratitude to Jim for organising this incredibly important meeting. We do need a global approach to the sacredness of water and realizing that we have to protect water. And as Amber very well said, we have to give up the idea of water as something that can be sold, bought and sold on the marketplace, and see it as the birthright of every living creature without having to buy it or sell it or one of those capitalist activities. And this is a very sacred topic, very sacred issue, and I'm just so grateful to Jim and everybody else for being here today. And I'm so sorry I had an appointment beforehand. Now I have to rush to the dentist, but I would have really wanted to stay for the whole meeting. So thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. And I really look forward to catching up and listening to the whole meeting on the recording. So thanks everyone.
Thank you, Peter. Good luck with your mouth. Now we'll have Sue come on and give us a little break in the middle here.
Hi, I am Sue Graywolf, grandmother Thunderbird, and I am just so honored, and my heart is just swelling, just listening to the wisdom coming from everybody that has spoken. Grandmother Mona, thank you so much for your prayer at the beginning. I just feel so honored for one to be here and just to listen and to hear of so many hearts just so connected to everything that is so important in this world. Water is, without water, nothing can exist. And our Mother Earth, everything that I love, I am so connected to her. I just can't imagine a place without water. And I know there are so many places around the world that are suffering right now because water is so scarce. And when we were talking about water rights, there is a place just a couple miles from our home here in Pennsylvania. It's a water reservoir, and there is a company that's trying to take that over, and they've been fighting that for a while now, and it's still going. And I just don't understand how something like that can be taken over by these companies. And I know there has to be things that all of us can do to help stop that. I mean, we have signs, we've connected, we've signed petitions, we can do everything we can, in our power to protect these water rights, not only for ourselves, for our enjoyment, but for the wildlife's enjoyment. That place, I actually walk there quite often, and I just there's a lot of woods. It's all wooded around, this water, and I just feel so at home and just so comfortable there. And that's my place to reconnect and just connect with the water. And there is a song that I want to share, but I think I'll do that when we do the second round, as Jim was speaking of. But I truly feel that all of us here have a strength and an energy and a power to be able to really make a difference and really help others to wake up. And a lot of us who are teachers, whether we know it or not, we are connecting to others just by being who we are. radiating that energy of love for the earth, for everything that she has, everything that she is, and radiating that energy for the water, and just allowing ourselves to connect. I actually, for about almost a year and a half now, a little over a year, I've been connecting with people from all around the world, doing a healing, 10, 15 minutes of healing. And it's just, it feels so wonderful to be able to sit with the Hoop of Many Colors. It's a 3.5 foot healing drum that has traveled most of the United States. It's been over in Stonehenge and Avebury and Scotland. Many, many hands, many hands drumming her, and a lot of healing with her. And when I send my healing energy, I send it through the drum. And I just imagine, as that energy is going around the world, connecting with other people that are singing, drumming, praying, whatever they're doing. I imagine just this energy of hearts falling and just touching humanity. And it's everything we do is just so powerful. And anything we do that we can connect and touch the lives of other people is really why we're here and what we need to do. Oh.
You know, Sue, maybe actually now, there's so much, it's so full with this wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe you do the song right now as a way for us to just, and I know Beverly Mona would like to speak too. I was
Okay.
just as a way of integrating and feeling the vibration of your beautiful song, was to give us a moment of pause to take in all of this before we go the next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, this is it's an Algonquin water song. This is one I've heard actually not too long ago. It was through a video. And all women of the world are asked to sing this water song at least once in their lifetime. Sing to the water 4 times, once in each direction: east, south, west, and north. Water is sacred. Water is life. Water connects and unites us. It is all women's responsibility to speak for and take care of the water. And this is the song. And I can't sing it as high as the young people in the video sang it, because I'll start squeaking if I do. But Sneeby Wabo and Diane, Aki Miss Queenie Bee Wabo, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. And you would go and you would sing that for the all 4 directions. Go ahead and go. So that would be the east. This would be the south. Nibi Wabo and Diane, Aki Miss Queenie Bee Wabo, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. This would be for the west. Nibi Wabo and Diane, Aki Miss Queenie Bee Wabo, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. And for the north. Nibi Wabo and Diane, Aki Miss Queenie Bee Wabo, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho.
beautiful. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Grandmother Mona, would you like to?
Yes. Yes. First of all, I'd like to greet each and every one of you and introduce myself. My name is Mona Polacca. My Havasupai name is Hanpa, which is a white eagle woman. And also my bloodlines are on my mother's side. I come from the Havasupai, the people of the blue-green water, the people that are the guardians of the Grand Canyon. And so I come from the water. That's the water I come from. And the picture behind me is that water. And then on my father's side, I come from the Hopi, my paternal grandmother from the Hopi, and my paternal grandfather from the Tewa Pueblo nations. And my clans on my mother's side is from the water, and on my paternal grandma's side, I come from the Sun clan, and on my Tewa grandpa's side, I come from the tobacco. And so that's my clan family. And I am currently in Tucson, Arizona, but I was born and raised on the Colorado River Indian tribe. So again, the waters that I come from also include the Colorado River. And these are some of the ways that I've noticed throughout my lifetime being among our indigenous people in ceremonies or in gatherings. That's one of the things that they always identify themselves with. What water do you come from? They identify themselves by the water they come from. And it could be a river, it could be a lake, it could be a special sacred spring. It could be a place where perhaps there was some water that is no longer there, but they still stay connected to the spirit of that water. And so that's the way I am. That's the way I was raised. I was also taught that that all of the life beings are, they too have, rights. They have, we have a responsibility to be kind to them, to care for them, and to also to make sure that they too have a safe and clean environment, because we are all connected, we are all related. And so these are some of the teachings that were given to me as I was growing up. Whenever I talk about the water, I also include the waters that are subterranean, the waters that are underground, the underground aquifers, rivers, lakes, and streams. We also believe that there are also beings and spirits that take care of those waters, and so we also acknowledge them and say, we have also love and respect for them. And so these are some of the things that I've been told about water, as well as the sacred teaching that water is our first foundation of life. Well, the water that we come from within our mother's womb. And because of that, when we're now that we're in this world, that it's our first foundation of life. And that it is very, very important for us to maintain that sacred relationship in acknowledging that way. The way my mother told me was, she said, when you come upon a water, you see this water here, how beautiful it is. Look at that waterfall, how beautiful it is. And our first reaction is to want to run to it and run into it. She said, don't do that. You walk up to it quietly and you put your fingertips into it. Touch the water with your fingertips. Rub your hands together like you're washing them. And put your fingertips back in that water. You're introducing yourself to it, she said. You must do that. You must acknowledge it and respect it and honor it. Introduce yourself to it just like you would, just like we're doing here on this panel. We must respect it that way. Not only the water, but all of our life-giving elements. So she said, you go to that water and you put your fingers in there and you introduce yourself to it. And then take that water, your wet hands, take it and pat your body from your feet all the way up, your heart and your mind, your head, and your mouth and your nose. So you're introducing yourself to it and it is introducing itself to you. So when you're doing that, you're giving thanks to it. Say, thank you for being here. Thank you for my life. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy you. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of you with me. I'm going to come in and visit with you. I'm going to get into you. I'm going to visit with you from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. And then you go in, she said. You don't just run over there and jump in. That's how people get hurt. She said you have to honor it, respect it, introduce yourself to it first. So those are some of the things that I was taught about this water. And she said, always be mindful too of the life forms that are in there. There's your relatives that live in there, she said. You respect them too. Don't be disturbing them. Don't be, throwing rocks at them. Don't do things like that. Respect them. They're living in peace. And that's the same thing that we want, right? We want to live in peace. We want to make this relationship with this holy water because we believe that through this water, we're going to achieve this common goal we have to live together in peace and to be able to have compassion for one another, as well as all of the life forms of the earth, all of our relatives. And so in that way, we make this sacred connection with this water. And then also we're also taught to go ahead and pour a little bit of the water if we're going in a ceremony, if we're in maybe we're outside, we're taking a drink of water outside somewhere. We might be out in the desert, we might be in the forest, wherever we might be. Before you take a drink of the water after you've been there, what you do is you pour a little bit of that water on Mother Earth. Make an offering. Acknowledge the ancestors, the spirits of that place where you stand, and pour some water down. It's also for our relatives, that have our bloodlines that have gone on into the spirit world. We acknowledge them that way. So that's what we do. And I want to acknowledge and say to our elder that shared the story about the water, the buckets of water. It reminded me that the way that I was told about when we go to get water from a sacred spring, or from when we go to gather water, what we do is we we go with the flow of the water. We don't turn our bucket upstream. We turn our bucket with the flow and take the water with the flow. And in that way, whatever purpose you're using this water for, it's going to flow. It's going to be good for you. That's the way I was told about how we take the water. And so those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you a statement. I'm part of an organization called the the Indigenous World Forum on Water and Peace, and have been working with this working group for over 15 years. And our effort has been to call attention to the issues about water for Indigenous people. And so I've been traveling to different parts of the world. I've done some work up in the First Nations in Canada, in British Columbia, as well as into Brazil with the Amazonian relatives down there. And when I meet with these people, one of the things that I do is I help them to write their water declaration or their water statement. And the intention of that is to be proactive rather than reactive, to make their statement and to declare their sacred relationship with the water and how it is a part of their everyday life and their survival. And it's not just them, but also the plant life and the water life, the fish and that live in the waters. If there's a dam that's built, it disrupts the flow. And these water life, they depend on that flow of the water. The way that the current moves, the fish, they have a balance with it where when they're spawning or when they're laying their eggs, where they lay their eggs, and the current that they move through. All of those things have an impact on the food sovereignty of the Indigenous people. When the dam is put in and the water flow is diminished, the temperature of the water changes. The temperature of the water affects, again, the water life, the fish, the plant life, all of the water life. That affects then the people, the Indigenous people, who rely on these things as their basic survival. And so these are some of, and the same thing with extractive industry, the mining, the oil, the contamination of the waters from these industries, factories, agriculture. All of these things are having a severe impact on the existence of the whole ecosystem of these areas of our Mother Earth. And when we talk about the water, we're talking about including the watershed. We say it's from the ridge of the mountains all the way down to the reefs, to the waters. All of that, that's all included. It's just not a body of water. It's that whole system, the watershed. And these watersheds historically and traditionally were our ways of identifying where we could travel, where we would have our camps, all those things. And now, you know, things are occurring where that watershed is being impacted. And so when we're talking about water law, that's one of the basic things that we must consider. We must consider the place where it is now. What has happened? How are we going to address that? And so I've worked in developing these statements, and in the statements we are saying that yes, our right to water is a human right. And I've worked with some of the First Nations communities where they tell me that they have been on boil water alerts for over 20 years. They can't drink their water out of the faucets. They have to boil their water. And so, so these are some of the things I thought about, you know, and then the ceremonies that are done with the water.
Awesome.
Ceremonies that keep us, you know, connected with that Holy Mother water that give us life. And so I really appreciate each and every one of you and all of your efforts that you know, we're joining together to do so that we can make a better life for our children and our grandchildren and our future generations that are yet to come, the ones that we will not see.
Thank you, grandmother. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And you brought it back into the water law so beautifully. I wanted to ask earlier, before I do this, I just want to bring in one person who couldn't get on here, and that's Chief Daniel Bunjonde from Nigeria. He is an amazing voice for water, and he was unable to come on. But I want to bring him in and connect his energy because he brings in Africa for us. So Daniel, Chief Daniel, we bring you in, brother. The other thing I wanted to do, and I thought of this as you were speaking, grandmother, Charles Twodog, chief for our tribe, was the first tribe to sign the Climate Change Emergency Proclamation in North America. And then recently, he was the first to sign the water law. I'm just curious if Chief would come on and say, why did the tribe step out and do that, and what other things can we do?
Well, brothers, thank you for letting me say this. But number one, we're caretakers of the Earth's mother. That's what we do. But we had been looking at what has been happening to the Arctic in Canada at one time, and how it was warming there. And then we watched how the polar bear was doing in this. And it's losing a lot of the way it hunts and other things of that matter. So there's heating up in the Arctic in Canada. Where I live at right now, there was 75 to 80 degrees in the middle of January and February. That was not normal here. And also listening to the young people and what they're standing for is that, you know, these are the next generations to come after us. I don't think of myself, I think it's 6 generations from myself. So I'm listening to these young people that had so much wisdom with this as well. But watching as the earth from, say the Arctic in Canada, how it's heating up and certain things of these manners is why I signed that. We need to come together to try to see what we can do to take care of this mother, because we only have one. And as I always said to them, also to the young people, I always was raised up by my grandfather to always think that as the earth goes, so goes all life. So as she goes, so go we. So that's one of the reasons for the climate change emergency proclamation. Now, for the water, we go to water, sometimes in ceremony also, but we watch as the rain peoples come, and it nourishes the earth mother. Sometimes my grandfather taught me to look at the trees, and sometimes when the trees have the leaves on them, the leaves will turn up when they're asked for the water or they pray for the water. The leaves will turn up. Then when the rains come, the leaves go back. So my grandfather taught me this way. He had around the water, he had a place where the fishes were. There's life in the water. It is necessary for the fishes, okay? So he set me down as a 4-year-old, and he had a pitcher of water like this, pure water. He had one glass for him, he had one glass for me. Then he gave the dogs water. And then he told me, he said, look at this, because it's real hot while we were doing this. The dogs were drinking the water, the fishes were fishing, swimming in the ponds, and we were drinking from that as well. And he said, when the rain peoples come, the plants drink this water, the standing ones drink this water. He said, you notice the 4-leggeds, the fishes, the 2-leggeds, and everything else. We're all part of this nature in itself, and we all need water to sustain ourselves. Water is substance as well. So that made me, as soon as I heard about this water law, that's a good thing, it's needed. So that's one of the reasons I signed them both, brother. Taking them out, bro.
Couldn't find my mute button. If we want, Jan said we can move to the water room, but I don't know about you guys. I'm spent. Let's turn it up. What do you think, anybody?
Maybe just check if there's any last thing. I think we were planning to go to the hour, and we just really have like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
If anyone had something they wanted to add, I see that Ivy put in the chat.
Yes.
If we're interested in the Global Humanitarian Peace Treaty, and there's an email there. Thank you for that, Ivy. Did you want to say anything about that quickly?
It will all be in the information. We haven't got time to go into that, but what it is coming back to what we all spoke about, is to come back to a human race where we can use our voices, one language and one voice, to put towards the behaviours of other structures that don't work for us. So if anyone's interested to become that, we can then, like the water laws and all the other laws that are in place, use it as another tool to bring peace, truth and love back to everything. So I can explain it when I send it, but it's something that also can help us have a stronger voice from one heart. So strength to the people.
Thank you, Ivy. Yes, it is all about us coming together. And Tanja did that movement. Yes, we keep doing this. And I just wanted to say something I was thinking about when Grandmother Mona was speaking and Uncle Max, about us needing to deeply respect the water and to always ask permission. And when we come into exchange with any of the elements, but especially with water. And I thought, yes, and how about the water inside of us, the water that we are? You know, to me, that's the original intention for prayer over our food before we eat it, or to thank the water before we drink it, that we are introducing something and we're kind of honoring what we put into our bodies. So I always switch to, yes, treating the water outside with respect, outside of us, but also inside of us. And that what we do to the water inside of us connects and affects the water outside too. And so I don't know, Jim, I have a poem that I would love to share as a bit of a closing. It's my love song, my love poem to water, called Ode to Water. And maybe after that, I don't know, Ivy, would you like to do a little closing prayer then? I just am so grateful to all of you. This was very, very special. This whole day has been amazing. And for me to end with this, thank you for coming from all your different parts of the world and different time zones. And I hope that Jan will keep us all connected, everyone that's been in this council circle, that's been included in this World Water Day. Yes, it's just the beginning. We are going to go on more. And the World Peace Day that will be happening in September. If you haven't already, sign the water law and find as many people in your community and your organizations to sign it. And Tanja, were you raising your hand? No, okay. So I will go ahead and read, and I just invite you to even close your eyes and allow the words to come in. This is my sending the vibration of love and gratitude into the water. Ode to water. How is it that you go everywhere with no obstacles but for the human made? In your softness, you swirl and slip around the hard and staid. Stroke the stones as you pass, laughing at their stubbornness. Seep through cracks to find the depths where darkness reigns. And scatter your diamonds in sheets of light across seas and lakes and streams. Shape-shifting into ice, you remodel landscapes like a feng shui master. Move mountains and smooth out the hills. Carve continents into whole new shapes. Never afraid to fall, you trust in surrender. Cascade yourself from heights that would make me swoon, just for the joy of it. And day after day, dance a slow cha-cha with the moon. And when you grow tired of earthbound life, you find wings, float angelic across the sky, masquerading as clouds. Even go so high that you merge with the sun. Survive its fiery furnace, who knows how. And best of all, you live in me as blood and breath and flesh. and miracle that it seems to be, you've thus learned to walk and speak and sing. And water, you remember everything you've ever been or touched, and bring those gifts to me so I can also know I am part of all in this whole vast sea, and that I too can trust in its seamless flow. Thank you. Aho.
Beautiful, beautiful, Maya. Thank you.
Bring my bowl of water, my sacred bowl here with the crystal that have been absorbing all the beautiful energy of this wisdom sharing today. I will gonna gift it to Grandmother Ocean later tonight. And thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for inviting me, for pulling together this beautiful circle. And thank you, every one of you. Bless you, bless your waters, wherever you are. And anything else you want to say, Jim, before we invite Ivy to have a close?
No, I think only a special thank you to our younger elders. It really, really makes me feel good to see that we have younger ones stepping up. And when we step off, it won't be the end. Thanks to all of you. Blessings.
Blessings. I just want to say thank you again for everyone. Grandmother Mona for opening. Thank you, Annie. I also had a glass of water to take in all our teachings. And to honour when we all meet in the right time, like I met you in Santa Barbara with the Tribal Foundation. Everything is for a reason and planned. So thank you for inviting me on. I want all of us to take our left hand and put that over our sacred belly button to remember our umbilical cord of life, where we all started with the water within our beautiful wombs when we were planted in our mother's womb under her heart. Our left hand representing our mothers. I want us to take our right hand and put that over our beautiful sacred hearts, in remembering the male energy, our fathers, both who created us and allowed us to be here. I want us to take a breath in and out to send unconditional love to all of those hearts that are still blocked, struggling, lost, to some of the hearts that have been making decisions that haven't served us, for us that are standing in action, that have been blessed with our wisdom and knowledge and teachings, to welcome those hearts to heal. I want us to reach out to anyone that asks about our teachings, to welcome them to come and sit with us, to strengthen as one people. I want us to visualize the beautiful Creator allowing Father Sky to take a big deep breath in and to blow a beautiful cloud over this whole planet to give us rain, for that rain to hit each one of our beautiful sacred heads, to turn into a beautiful river that flows over our right arm, coming down, flowing up to our beautiful heart, which is what we need right now to work, talk, and action with unconditional love. And for that water, sacred water within us, to go over our left shoulder and flow down, reaching that sacred doorway, our umbilical cord, where we first, like a shooting star, landed in our mother's wombs, to remind us that we are made up mostly of this beautiful, intelligent element, water of life, that gives us life, and how much we need to keep our temples clean. So if we would need 70–80% of clean water within us, so we can think, see, feel, digest, and action clearer, we need to keep all of those elements outside of us clean. So thank you so much for this beautiful gathering. Thank you for all of those that are listening. Thank you for all of those that are standing together. And thank you for all of the people that are awake and are coming to join us. Thank you for the gratitude of all of us being alive today in this beautiful transition 2020, for the teachings to carry the wisdom, for all of our children, our grandchildren and their children. I'm going to finish now with a beautiful song from Polynesia, Samoa, and it represents what we're doing. I'm going to talk it through. It's short but deep. And when you hear 1, 2, 3 at the end, I want all of us to yell out a celebration call that we are on the right path. So on 3, after I explain this and sing it, we're going to yell out, Shee-hoo! So all of you that globally know me, you will know this song. For those that don't, join in this beautiful song of celebration. It goes like this. Sa vali vali, we are all on the right walk. Tau tala tala, there's been too much talking. It's time for action. Alofa oi, spirit loves us. The elements in spirit are above us, beneath us, around us, in front of us. Connect in to understand life. Take it easy, whai le mu. Enjoy life, share, be kind, give to others if you've got plentiful. And when I say 1, 2, 3, we're going to celebrate. Shee-hoo! We're going to celebrate life. So here we go. Sa vali vali, we're on our walk. Tau tala tala, too much talk. Alofa oi, spirit loves you. So take it easy, whai le mu. Take it easy, whai le mu. 1, 2, 3. Celebration. We're here. We're moving forward from heart. Aho.
Aho.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Mahalo. All around.
Oh, thanks everyone. Jan just put up, you might want to remember, anyone who's listening and listens later, go to www.codes.earth. That's a great unifying place for all kinds of initiatives.
Yeah.
So we welcome you to join us there, and let's all stay connected. Yeah.
Jim, can I say one thing to Grandfather Murray down in Australia that I just heard from too? I want to thank him very much because what he said about being when the sun comes up, and that is the first day for the rest of our lives. They've done a connection because that's what my grandfather used to tell me. So there's a connection all over the world, man.
Yes,
Aho, brother.
thank you.
Thank you for giving me a little touch of my grandfather back.
Welcome.
Blessings, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take that water out for us, Maya. I guess, I don't know how this works. I guess we just leave. I don't know.
I don't know because I'm computer literate,
So say we all, Uncle.
but spiritually connected.
Yeah. I think we could just hit the leave button in the lower right and we'll be good.
Yeah, I think that's it.